The Garage in Summer Dust. Hey friends, and welcome back to Learn English Podcast Every Day, where we blend calm stories with beautiful English learning. Tonight, we're walking through an empty train station where nothing moves but your thoughts. Or maybe we're stepping into a quiet garage where something orange and dusty waits for you in the corner. If you enjoy learning English through slow, immersive stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, or share the podcast, only if it feels right to you. Now get cozy, maybe light a candle or pour some tea, and let's begin. The door creaks. You haven't opened it in a while. The air is dry and still inside, warm like the breath of something asleep for years. Light pours in from a small, dusty window. It cuts the space into slanted rectangles, catching particles in the air. Tiny floating flecks of time. You stand just inside the garage, letting your eyes adjust. There are boxes stacked along the wall. Some are taped shut. Others sag open, revealing old holiday decorations, tangled extension cords, a tennis racket with strings that sag like spider webs. You walk slowly, your steps soft. The concrete floor is gritty beneath your bare feet. Your fingers brush a cobweb as you pass. And there it is, tucked behind a blue cooler and a broken broom, a shape you haven't seen in years, faded, chipped, but unmistakably orange. The bicycle. Your bicycle. You let out a breath you didn't know you were holding. You take a step closer. Its frame is smaller than you remember. Or maybe you're taller now. The rubber on the handlebars is cracked. One pedal is bent just slightly. The tires sag flat, but the bike still stands. Proud. Waiting. Your fingers reach out. They find the handlebars, warm from the sun that sneaks through the window. You feel the dust on your skin. You wipe it gently with your thumb, revealing a brighter orange underneath. The paint glows there, just for a moment, like it remembers being fast. You remember too. You push the bike a little. The wheels creak, but they move. You lift the kickstand with your toe, and the frame shifts, alive again. You smile, and then you walk it outside. The tires groan slightly against the concrete. The light grows stronger as you pass the threshold, and the garage swallows its shadows once again. Outside, the air is thick with summer. You roll the bicycle to the side of the house. The grass brushes your ankles. Somewhere nearby, a lawnmower hums. A bee wobbles past your face. You squint up at the sun. The world is soft and golden. You find the pump beside the shed. It still works. The hose fits, just barely. You kneel on the driveway and fill each tire, pressing slowly, listening for the hiss, waiting for the rubber to swell and rise. And as you do, your memory fills too. You see yourself, younger, hands smaller, arms thinner. A helmet too big for your head, your legs pumping, your cheeks flushed, the same orange bike beneath you. Wheels clicking like a clock. Click, click. Click, click. You never named the sound. It was just part of the ride, part of the road, like wind in your ears, or the gravel that cracked beneath your tires. The past returns not as images, but as feelings. Sun on your neck, air in your lungs, freedom under your feet. You tighten the last cap on the valve. You stand, you roll the bike back onto the sidewalk, and you pause. Your hand rests on the seat. Your heart beats a little faster. You smile, and then you climb on. Wheels rolling over, warm pavement. Your foot finds the pedal. The other pushes off gently from the curb. The bike wobbles. Just a little at first. The tires are uncertain, like they're stretching after a long sleep. But you steady yourself. Your hands grip the handlebars, and slowly, the motion smooths. You begin to roll down the quiet street with the sun kissing the back of your neck and the wind already starting to hum. Click, 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 click. The familiar rhythm returns, soft and sure. It's the same sound from before, and yet today, it feels slower, more thoughtful, as if even the bike remembers to move gently. The road ahead stretches out like a ribbon, gray and warm and empty. No cars, no people. Just a summer street lined with soft lawns and sleepy houses. A paper rests on one doorstep. A sprinkler clicks lazily in the distance. The trees lean over the road, casting mottled shade that dances across the pavement. You ride slowly, not because you have to, but because you want to. You feel each breath, each turn of the pedal. You're not going anywhere. You're just moving, coasting, remembering. Your shadow follows beside you, long and bending with each curve. A few birds chirp in the high branches. Somewhere behind a fence, a dog barks once, then goes quiet. The air smells like hot pavement and cut grass. You pass a row of mailboxes. One of them is still open. A few letters sit inside, quiet and untouched. You imagine the stories inside those envelopes. Grocery lists, birthday cards, someone's forgotten appointment. The sun warms your arms. Your legs move without effort now. The pedals catch and release. Your feet remember every motion. Your body holds the memory, even if your mind had forgotten. You reach the top of a gentle hill. You pause for just a second. Enough to look ahead, to see the road bend and dip like a wave frozen in midair. You take a breath, then lift your feet and coast. The breeze rises. It rushes past your ears like soft music, like the whisper of something old and friendly. Your shirt flutters. Your hair lifts slightly. The orange frame carries you smoothly, quietly. You close your eyes just for a second and feel the freedom, and in that moment, you're no longer now. You're then. You're the child again, with scraped knees and sunburnt cheeks. You're the teenager, sneaking out after dinner, riding until the sky turned violet and the stars came one by one. You're the person you've always been, alone on a bike in the summer heat, forgetting the weight of time. The street curves gently to the right. You follow it without thinking. The tires hum against the road. Your fingers tap the brake, just lightly, as you lean into the turn. A squirrel darts across the street ahead. You smile. You pass a garden where tomatoes hang heavy on the vine. A row of laundry flutters on a line. A wind chime rings as you glide by. These little things, small, almost nothing, feel like poems today. You think about the word coast, how soft it sounds, how it means to move without force, to let gravity carry you, to trust the slope beneath your wheels. You coast, down a little dip in the street, past the house with the porch swing, past the sidewalk chalk that says hello in wobbly pink letters. You smile again. Not big, not loud, just enough. The kind of smile that belongs to this kind of day. You pass under a tree, and a leaf falls in front of you. You don't swerve. It lands gently on your shoulder, rides with you for a second, then drifts away. The sun begins to press a little heavier on your back, but the breeze stays kind. You shift your hands on the grips. You rise slightly off the seat. You feel the pedals turning under your feet, steady and certain. Click, 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 click. You whisper the sound aloud. Just once. It's almost like a heartbeat. The road ahead stretches farther now, disappearing into a soft shimmer where the heat rises. You know these streets. You could ride them with your eyes closed, but today, they feel new again. like a book you loved and forgot, like a song you haven't heard in years, but still know all the words. You glance over your shoulder once. The garage is far behind now, and the orange bicycle? It's not a memory anymore. It's moving. It's here. It's alive beneath you. And you ride. The scent of lilacs and lawn mowers. You turn down a quieter street, if that's even possible. The wheels hum, and the air around you thickens slightly, warm with the weight of summer. Here the houses are spaced farther apart. The lawns are wide, the porches deep with shadows. There's a scent on the breeze, soft, floral, familiar. Lilacs. You slow down, letting the smell wrap around you. It's coming from the corner house, the one with the peeling green fence and the old swing set in the yard. You remember that fence. You remember the creak of its gate. Someone used to keep a golden retriever there, didn't they? Or was that just a dream? You ride slowly, breathing in the flowers. They smell like every late spring of your childhood, like the edge between school and summer, like last day of class happiness. The wind carries another smell now, sharper, greener. Fresh-cut grass. Ahead, a man mows his lawn. The machine buzzes steadily, and a thin mist of clippings sprays to the side. You pedal past him, and he lifts a hand in a lazy wave. You nod back, and the smell deepens. Sweet and earthy and clean. These are smells you don't notice until you're riding, until you're moving through the air, letting the world bring them to you. Walking doesn't catch them. Cars move too fast. But a bicycle breathes them in. Your tires crunch slightly over a patch of gravel. You rise slightly off the seat to soften the bump, then settle again. The path curves left, past a mailbox painted like a watermelon. The scent of charcoal drifts out from a backyard grill. Someone's cooking early. You hear a screen door slap shut behind you. Children's laughter. A sprinkler ticks, 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 then hisses in a wide, cool arc. You lift your feet as you pass through the edge of the spray. Just your legs get wet. Bare calves splashed with cold. You laugh softly. It feels like a gift. Every street is filled with little pieces of memory. There's the corner where you fell once. Scraped your elbow, cried a little, laughed later. There's the driveway where you once waited for a friend who never showed up. There's the oak tree whose branches held your first attempt at a rope swing. Everything is quieter now, but the memories remain. Your bike carries them with you. Click, 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 click. You hear the sound of birds. Doves, maybe, or something like them. Their cooing rolls through the trees like the hush of an afternoon nap. A cat sleeps on a porch step. A flag stirs in the breeze. A wind chime sings, then goes silent again. You grip the handlebars gently. The heat of the sun, the movement of the wheels, the weightless feel of your shirt against your back. It all begins to blur into something like music. Not loud music. Not exciting music. Something quieter. A song made of breeze and breath and bicycle rhythm. You turn right onto a smaller street. The houses here are older, more trees, more shadow. The air is cooler. A robin flutters up from the ground as you pass. You begin to notice things. The rust on a gutter, a spider web across a fence post, the way one window curtain flutters while the others stay still. You wonder who lives there. You wonder if they know how beautiful their lilac bushes are, how sweet their lawn smells, how the air near their porch feels like childhood. And you wonder what memories they carry, too. What orange bicycles live in their garages, waiting. You pass a fence made of wood slats, one of them missing. Through the gap, you see a garden. Tomatoes, green and small. Rows of something leafy. A hose coiled like a sleeping snake. You smile again. There is something about summer that asks you to slow down. Something about this ride that pulls old thoughts to the surface. You think of someone, a friend, or maybe just a name you once whispered. Someone you rode with long ago. You can't remember what you talked about, but you remember the sound of their laughter, the way their tires clicked behind yours, the dust that rose around your ankles as you both raced down the alley behind the school. You remember the feeling of being understood without needing to speak. You pedal slowly. You're not trying to go back. You're not trying to rewrite anything. You're just riding. And the past rides with you, gently, like a shadow that doesn't press too hard. Like a memory that doesn't ask for more than breath. Lilacs still linger in the air. You look up. The sky is deep blue now, without clouds. And you ride on. The shortcut. Through the empty field, you turn down a road that leads toward the edge of town. The houses begin to fall away, and the trees thin into wide sky. You know where you're going. You always knew. The shortcut. It hasn't been paved, not even after all these years. It's just a narrow path of packed dirt and grass, cutting through an open field that buzzes with summer life. You used to ride it every afternoon, when you wanted to disappear for a little while, when you needed a quiet place to feel big and small at the same time. You guide the orange bicycle toward the break in the fence. The front wheel dips slightly as it leaves the smooth road and enters the rutted trail. Grass brushes your ankles again. This time it's taller. Wild. The air changes. No more houses. No lawn mowers. No mailboxes or fences. Just sky and the soft hum of insects in the long grass. You pedal gently, feeling the tires bounce slightly over the uneven ground. Your hands grip the bars a little tighter, not out of fear, but to feel it all, to be part of it. There's a dragonfly, bright blue, darting ahead of you like a small flying light. You follow. The sun warms your shoulders now, heavier than before. You squint against the brightness. Sweat beads at your hairline, but you don't mind. The breeze that moves with your ride is enough. Cooling your cheeks, whispering through the weeds. Click, 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 click. The sound of your ride blends with the natural rhythm of the place, the chirp of crickets, the dry rustle of grass, the distant caw of a bird you can't quite see. And then there's the fence, still broken, still leaning. You smile as you approach it. One of the boards is missing, and another hangs by a single nail. That's where you used to slip through, back when your backpack was filled with summer snacks and notebooks full of secrets. You don't even stop this time. You angle the bike just right and slide through the opening. The tires crunch across gravel now, small stones scattered like crumbs beneath the sun. There was an old shed out here once. You glance left and spot it. Still there, still gray, still half collapsed. You don't stop to look inside. You already know what it holds. Dust. Silence. Time. You ride past it. The path curves softly around a cluster of trees. Their shadows spill across the trail like spilled ink. You ride through them, through the cool pockets of shade and the quick flashes of light. You remember riding here as the sun set once, and everything turned gold. You remember lying down in the grass beside your bike, staring up at the sky until it blinked with stars. You remember thinking then, I'll always come back here. And now you have. You ride past the spot where you once found a bird's nest, past the patch of wildflowers that used to bloom in purples and pinks. They're gone now, just leaves and stems, But the memory of color lives on. There's a soft hill up ahead. Not steep. Just enough to make you rise out of the seat and push a little harder. Your legs burn slightly. The chain ticks. Your breath comes deeper. You reach the top. And pause. You don't pedal. You don't move. You let the bike roll to a stop, and you plant one foot gently on the ground. Below you is the rest of the field, wide and open, leading back toward the edge of town. The rooftops shimmer in the distance. A water tower stands like a quiet guardian, and everything is still, except you. You're breathing. You're here. You take a deep breath and exhale slowly. The kind of breath that feels like it belongs to the earth. Like it could travel forever across the grass and the sky and the roads you've ridden. You look down at the bike, orange, dusty, chipped, and alive. You swing your leg over and sit down again. Let gravity take you. No pedaling this time. Just a gentle coast down the slope. The wind in your hair, the sun in your eyes, the clicking of the wheels. Click, 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 click. And the sound of something inside you saying yes. Yes to this moment. Yes to the memory. Yes to the path you've taken. Not just through the field, but through the day. Through your own life. You ride on, smiling, not thinking, just being. That day, I rode without stopping. There was one day, years ago, that comes to mind now. You weren't riding for fun. Not exactly. You weren't trying to get anywhere, either. You were just riding. Because everything inside you felt like it needed to move. You don't remember the exact date, but you remember the feeling. You had taken the bike out before breakfast, maybe even before the sun had climbed all the way into the sky. The world was quiet then, like it was holding something heavy and precious, and didn't want to drop it. You didn't even think. You just rode down the same sleepy streets, through the same empty field, past the same corners and fences and overgrown trees. But something was different that day. The ride wasn't about the sights. It wasn't about the breeze or the smell of grass or the way the sun made everything shimmer like a slow dream. It was about motion, about staying in motion. Because stopping meant letting the thoughts catch up to you. And that morning, you weren't ready. You remember your legs burning, your shirt damp with sweat, the way the chain squeaked every few turns, the way your hands gripped the handlebars tighter with every mile. You passed people you didn't know, and some you did. You waved without slowing. You turned down new streets without planning. Your wheels carried you far from home, farther than you'd gone alone before. And still you didn't stop. There was a stretch of road beyond the town, lined with low stone walls and wild fields. You remember the way the gravel popped beneath your tires, the way your breath came in deep, ragged waves. But there was something peaceful in that tiredness, something that felt like truth, because in that ride, you had no one to answer to, no one watching, no one waiting. You were your own rhythm, your own silence, your own story. And for the first time in a long time, you didn't feel small. You felt endless, like the road could carry you forever. You remember the moment you finally did stop. It wasn't planned. You just rolled to a halt on a dirt path beside a field of tall grass, the kind that swayed gently in the breeze like a whisper. The orange bicycle tilted as you leaned it against a tree. Your legs were shaking, but your heart was still. Finally. Still. You lay down in the grass, not in a dramatic way, just in the way tired people do. You let the earth hold your back, and you looked up. The sky was enormous. Clouds passed slowly above you, white and forgiving. A single bird traced a circle. Your chest rose and fell with the kind of breath that doesn't try to control anything. That was the first time you cried in front of no one and didn't feel lonely. It wasn't sadness exactly. It was release. It was relief. It was a kind of remembering. And now, years later, riding once again, slower, older, you carry that day inside you. You don't feel the need to ride endlessly now. You don't need the movement to escape, but you still carry the memory of what it gave you. Freedom, permission, space. You look down at the handlebars as you ride, your hands loose now. The metal is warm beneath your fingers. The sun is dipping lower. Shadows stretch across the road. Click, 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 click. The wheels still sing their soft rhythm. But now it's not a race, it's not a sprint, it's a return to something that never really left. You take a slow turn toward home. You recognize the way the air smells now, more dust, more quiet. The streets have changed since that day, but the ride is the same, and in your chest something small and glowing stirs. The memory of that day you rode without stopping. The day the ride became more than a ride. The day the orange bicycle held your whole story and didn't let go. You ride on, slower now, but with more meaning in each turn of the pedal. Because even now, as the evening hums around you, you can still feel that moment. You, the road, the breath, the quiet, and the wheels moving forward, always forward. The words that came with the wind. Now, as the sun begins to dip behind the trees and the light turns the road gold, you slow your pedaling. The air is softer, cooler. Shadows stretch long across the pavement. You feel the day easing toward its close. The ride is almost over, but in your mind, something else moves forward, quietly. Words. Not loud ones, not formal ones, just the kind that lived quietly inside your thoughts as you rode. You didn't try to study them. They came naturally, like the breeze that met your face, like the gravel beneath your tires. I remember the orange bicycle I once rode. That sentence has stayed with you. As you move through summer streets and old shortcuts, it echoed softly in your thoughts. You feel each part of it now, not just with your mind, but with your whole body. I remember. That's how it begins. So simple. So full. 2 words that carry the entire weight of the past. You don't need more. That phrase opens the door to every feeling that followed you today. And then, I once rode. Not ride, not am riding, but once rode. A phrase like a warm, folded letter. It tells us it happened already. Not today, not yesterday, but in a place made of time and light and memory. You might not have noticed it when you first said it, but now, after this long, slow ride, it feels sacred. Not a rule, not a lesson. Just the truth. You also remember whispering, "There was a moment." That's another phrase that surfaced again and again, gently as breath. There was a tree, a path, a hill. There was a time I didn't stop. There was a silence that said more than words. It's a quiet kind of grammar, that phrase. It invites the listener in. It doesn't point or explain. It simply places something on the table and lets you look at it. You used it without thinking, but now you can feel its shape. And there was more. The sky was endless. My hands were small. The wind was warm. Simple sentences, past simple, but deeply alive. They weren't built like schoolbook examples. They came wrapped in emotion, in breath, in movement. I rode, I coasted, I laughed just a little. Each phrase a soft pebble on the path. Each one part of the rhythm of your remembering. And the adjectives, maybe you didn't even notice them, but they held the color in your story. Warm pavement, sleepy streets, faded orange paint, quiet hill, wide sky. You didn't learn them from a list. You didn't copy them down. But they found you. Through smell, through touch, through sound. The scent of lilacs, the hum of lawnmowers, the creak of the fence, the flicker of wind chimes, the clicking wheels. All those small images created something larger, not a vocabulary sheet, but a world. And that world lived in English. Not as a rule, but as a rhythm, a presence, a way of being. You whisper now, softly into the air. I used to ride here. You don't finish the sentence. You don't need to. The words hang gently around you, like fireflies blinking slowly in the gathering dusk. You feel them in your chest. You carry them in your breath. And as the road begins to narrow again, leading you back toward the house, toward the garage where this all began, you understand something simple. Language doesn't just live in the mouth. It lives in the memory, in the moment, in the muscle of the leg that turns the pedal, in the hand that rests on the handlebars, in the eyes that see a field and remember freedom. You don't need to hold every word. Just one, just a phrase, just a breath. Let them come with the wind. Let them ride with you. And they will stay. Patterns in the petals and the past. You arrive back at the garage slowly. The door is still open. The air inside still dry and warm. Still holding its silence like a breath held too long. You roll the orange bicycle across the threshold. The tires whisper over the concrete. You don't rush. Not now. Not after a ride like that. You rest the bike against the wall where it used to live. Dust swirls in the light. And for a moment, you just stand there, listening, feeling. The pedals stopped turning, but the rhythm stays inside you. Click, 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 click. It's still there, a soft echo in your chest. You sit on the step just outside the garage. The sun slips down behind the fence, and the shadows lean long across the yard. A breeze stirs the trees gently. Everything feels slower now, and sweeter. Like the last sip of tea before bed. Your breath is calm, and your mind, slowly, begins to turn back. Not just to the ride, but to the language that rode with you. Some phrases stayed close. Others surprised you. I had ridden this way before. You whispered that to yourself at one point, didn't you? Just as you passed the field. And there, tucked inside that sentence, was a little doorway to the past perfect. I had ridden. Not just yesterday. Not just once. But before. Before something else. Before this moment. The phrase held more than grammar. It held time itself. And you felt it. Earlier you said, I used to ride this shortcut every day. And in those words, used to, there was a shape your heart knew, even if your mouth didn't plan it. The shape of habit, of routine, of things once loved. Used to isn't about rules. It's about return, about remembering the way the world felt when it was smaller, slower, or more yours. And then there were those simple moments you described without trying. The handlebars were warm. The grass brushed my ankles. The wheel turned smoothly. Each one held the past gently. Each one painted a picture. And you didn't stop to ask if it was correct. You didn't freeze the story to fix the grammar. You let the language carry you. Like the pedals. Like the path. Like the soft wind in your face. You said things like, there was a path through the field. There was a bird that flew beside me. There was a day I didn't want to stop. And that phrase, there was, kept returning, soft and steady, a gentle companion. It let you offer memories without effort. It let you share without shouting. Just a breath. A placement. A piece of the past. Sometimes, all we need is one sentence to hold a feeling. One phrase to carry a moment. You think again about those adjectives that slipped into your story, how they gave color and shape without asking for attention. Faded, quiet, golden, distant, gentle. You didn't study them. You lived them. You felt the faded color of the bike. You heard the quiet of the field. You saw the golden light. And now, even as the sun fades from the sky and your legs begin to rest, those words still glow in your memory. Language, like writing, is a kind of rhythm, a balance. Not something you force, but something you trust. You trust your foot to find the pedal. You trust your voice to find the phrase. And when you fall out of rhythm, you just keep moving. You don't correct. You continue. You coast. Now in this still hour, this cooling garage, this slowing day, you understand something deep and calm. Grammar doesn't need to be taught. It can be remembered. It can rise like scent, like light, like breath. It can return through stories and rides and silence. You smile. You feel the dust on your fingertips. You whisper almost without thinking, "I had ridden farther than I planned." And somehow that says everything. The bike, the boy, and the breeze. The sky has turned a soft gray-blue now, the kind of color that only happens when the day is exhaling. You sit quietly just outside the garage, elbows resting on your knees, the scent of warm earth rising from the ground. The orange bicycle stands a few steps away, leaning gently against the wall, like it knows the ride is done for now. You watch the breeze move the leaves on the trees. You think about the boy you used to be, the one who rode with scraped knees, who pedaled fast just to feel the wind pull at his shirt. You think about the boy who didn't need a reason to go anywhere, because movement itself was enough. He's still in there. Maybe quieter now. Maybe softer around the edges. But still present. You whisper a few words from earlier. Not out loud, just inside. I remember the orange bicycle I once rode. That line, your line, has become more than a memory. It's a key. A way to unlock all the quiet, beautiful things that came with the story. You remember the warm pavement, the sleepy streets, the fence with one slat missing. You remember the soft hum of lawnmowers, the scent of lilacs, the tick of sprinklers and wind chimes. You remember phrases that floated with you as you rode. There was a shadow beside me. There was a time I never wanted to stop. I used to take the shortcut. I had ridden this way before. They live in your thoughts now. Not like lessons, but like breath. Like something real and tender that your body knows how to carry. You close your eyes and feel the muscles in your legs. Not sore, just used. Just awake. The breeze lifts again, and you hear a bird call out from the trees. You speak softly now, to yourself, maybe even to the boy from before. We rode today. We remembered, and we returned. And in that return, you didn't just find the bicycle. You found your language again. Not in books or rules, but in the rhythm of a real story. In movement, in stillness, in the gentle grammar of memory. You turn your palms upward on your knees. Let them rest. The orange bicycle doesn't need to move anymore today, but its story still rolls forward, and so does your English. Not forced, not fast, just coasting forward, just breathing, just saying the words when they come, like, the field was golden, the road was long, my thoughts were quiet, and the wind was kind. Say one aloud now, if you'd like. Maybe one word, maybe one phrase that felt beautiful. Write it down. Let it stay with you. Doesn't have to be perfect, just true, just yours. And if you'd like, come back to it tomorrow. Or the next time you see a bicycle, or smell lilacs, or hear the soft clicking of old wheels turning. Because some stories return, again and again. And in every return, the language deepens, the story softens, the memory stays. If you enjoyed this story, I'd love if you followed or shared it with someone else who's learning English. It helps this gentle little podcast reach more people. Until next time, keep coasting, keep remembering, keep speaking softly, and maybe, just maybe, write again.